The 1 to 10 and 1 to 100 rating system needs to get retired. It's extremely vague for people just trying to find a review of something. Because there's no standardization for it, it can't offer insight into whether or not something is good or not. And a lot of the stuff it's applied to is a type of artwork, and honestly, artwork shouldn't be ranked on whether or not it's good or bad. So stop trying to rely on a number on whether or not you should watch something or read something or play a game. And if you're trying to give input on something, then definitely try to write a review. So if you want to review something, try to focus on the actual aspects of the thing. Write about the characters, write about the setting. Don't just try to boil down reviews to a number, whether or not you're reading them or giving them. And the biggest issue with the number scale is that you're trying to compare two things. If something is an 85 and something else is an 83, how significant is that difference? Are you really willing to say one of those things is better than the other? And with both of them being relatively good scores, how significant can it even be? And even with scores so similar, they could have vastly different pros and cons. Two of my favorite movies, The Lord of the Rings and The Wizard of Oz, are incredible movies, and they should be appreciated whether or not they score higher. But those movies have completely different themings, and just because they have similar scores doesn't mean that they will be enjoyed by the same people. And the biggest issue with number scoring is how inconsistent it all is. The Steam store having recommended and not recommended as the options is incredibly useful, and Steam will request games based on your play history and not based on the scores the game has gotten. I prefer reading negative reviews anyway, and with a negative review, they'll focus on the cons so I'll know whether or not a game is worth playing. And the biggest issue with the 1 to 10 and 1 to 100 rating system is just how people grade it. Some people prefer using 5 as the average, while other people prefer using 7 or 8 as the average, like a letter grade. So is something graded as a 60 a below average or above average? And if anything, you should just switch to either using a 1 or a 10, or a 1 to 100. That way the ratio is at least more consistent. And you could see that something with a 90 score would have a 90% approval rate. But of course you're always going to be better off just writing a review, or leaving a comment on a YouTube video, cough cough. Anyway, this is Blind Oracle, I'll see you next time.